The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Podcast. It's yet another edition of The Big Issue. And of course, I hope you had a very wonderful weekend. As usual, my name is George Agba, your regular host. And with me here in the studio, as usual again, our very vibrant in-house analyst. We have Silas Ezogu.
You're welcome.
And of course, we have Chibuzo Kaibi.
Thank you.
Well, and the big issue for the day is 2023. Osun Governorship poll, lessons and signs of things to come. The Independent National Electoral Commission declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Ademola Adeleke, the winner of the governorship election held in Osun State. The election in which the candidate of the opposition party trounced the incumbent governor, according to pundits, is a sign of things to come in the 2023 general election. Well, it is not actually unusual. We have actually seen where incumbents have been upset, have been thrown out of office in elections by opposition candidates. It happened in 2015 when former President Goodluck Jonathan lost woefully to the opposition candidates, President Muhammadu Buhari then. And since then, it had always been a precedent that in Nigerian election, anything can happen. But this election was a very unique one. The election goes a long way to show us that things are not going to be the way they are always in the 2023 election. The electronic transmission of results, the electronic processes introduced into the Nigerian electoral system. Most watchers of the political happenings around the country say played a major role in the election, as well as a situation where we now have people believing in the electoral process, going for their PVCs, collecting them, and just like what happened in last Saturday's election, it was a large, high turnout. But Chibuzo, let's start with this, that we would have thought that by now, the former President Goodluck Jonathan would have taught our politicians a lesson how to accept electoral defeat. But our politicians don't seem to be learning fast, or I think they have not learned any lesson from Jonathan in 2015. You see, the incumbent governor Oyotola has not congratulated Adeleke, saying that he's still studying the election results. What can you say in this regard? Was there anything wrong with that election?
Thank you. If one has to reflect on the position of most of the monitoring groups, the civil society organizations rather, that monitor the elections, to the degree that the INEC conducted the polls in line and in observance of the rules. I don't think anybody has faulted that in any way. Where the challenge has always been is on how politicians conducted themselves, and which manifested more in the vote buying, thing. But as with regards to the role INEC played in this whole process as an election monitoring an election management body. I don't think anybody has faulted INEC. So to that degree, it shows the legitimacy of what has transpired because they have the authorizing power to declare, you know, the election, and they have done so. So to that degree, whether the incumbent governor congratulates Adeleke or not is neither here nor there. I understand, you know, the correctness of that, the political correctness of that action, and the mileage it might perhaps give him, you know. But again, he's well within his rights, whether or not he congratulates or not. It's not a it's not an offense in any way if
Of
he
course.
decides not to congratulate him. But the facts are there. The that Adeleke got the highest number of votes is clear. And so INEC has called it, and the option he has is to go to court and contest it if he has any objections as to
Well,
what the INEC has done.
has done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Silas. There are many takeaways most Nigerians claim they have from the governorship election in Osun last Saturday. Some of them, most of the keen observers, and even those who fully participated in the election say the takeaways, some of them are that politics is all about winning election. And obviously, anyone who can pull it is the candidate. Of course, say nobody should deceive anybody that everything is all about winning election and has, yes, that nobody should deceive anybody that it's all about just winning election. It has nothing to do with if the candidate can speak phonetics or competent English. And then this where now shows that it was not even all about debate because the candidate of PDP Adeleke didn't come close to what anybody would have said an impressive outing during the governorship debate in Osun. But yet, he remained the people's choice. You see, and that shows the dynamics of local politics. That it is deeply rooted in local sentiment. And then people say Oyo and Osun are almost the same in that they hardly see why you should win a second term. Of course, you see, this has been the kind of pattern established in the state. Uh, so it is now left for the candidate now to now show the governor elect to show how he can be able to change this tide.
No,
Although we know that Regbosola did
yes,
two
yes,
terms.
I want to say that.
Yes.
When it comes to issue of not winning second term, sometimes it depends on how you manage, you know, the governance that you have.
But sorry to cut you short. Again, that shows that's true. You see that the Oyetola on record that he walked.
Yeah.
He walked.
Let me tell you something.
He did.
There's no government that will go there and not work. But whether what they worked is to the level that people expected it. But if we work to the level that people expected it, you know, possibly they have voted him back. Now, don't forget, I want to cite an instance with Indike, when he came to Anambra State. Electoral is public knowledge that this Adeleke was the people's choice in 2018.
18, okay.
It's everybody, there's nobody arguing that. There is some political inflation and they denied him. So those who felt that this person they wanted may have harbored that angst in their mind for 4 years. And when you have such an angst, I didn't get what I wanted. Even when the person there is doing so well for you, you might still feel that the person you wanted would have done better. So that is there. And this feeling of we are cheated, that feeling of being a student mandate could have stayed with some people for 4 years. So they were waiting for the next cycle to drive the point home. That could have, played a player in this role. But coming to performance level, it depends on the perception that people have of his performance. Now, somebody else who came to power without the people's mandate was Ngige in 2020 what? around 2003 or something or two thereabout.
Okay.
It took Peter Ob's mandate, but he had a very tumultuous 2.5 years or thereabout, where he was even kidnapped and barricaded by Godfather. Those who put him there wanted to make the state through him, and when he said no, he started working for the people to the point that because of the kind of work he put on ground, he became so popular in the state that he has been winning election. In fact, that he has prepared his political career to the point that he's still serving since that time. Even when he won, because his party couldn't win election in another state, but he has been winning the Senate to come to Abuja and serve in the Senate. And when he didn't win, he was appointed minister. So I want to say that some people who even took some other person mandate, they have this patch of the job, dispense the job with such good notes that people will continue to remember them. So I don't know how much Electoral did for the state for them to forgive him that it took that mandate at that time to win them over like Ndike did in Anambra State. People still talk about what Ndike did in 2.5 years, even now, and that has helped him politically. So he said he worked, but he didn't work to the point that those people who voted for Adeleke in the past will forgive him for taking a mandate. I don't know, but the results showed that somehow maybe they expected more of him, or maybe they just felt that look, this guy will want to see how much they can do for them. But like you said earlier, uh, the point also mentioned about debate. If going by debate, in the last election in the APC presidential primary, everybody knew that Professor Sivajo was head and
He
shoulders
carried the
above
day.
everybody who spoke on that day.
Even the ovation and the cheers
Yes,
he
in
got
fact, in
after,
short, after he spoke, some people said that this is a kind
un,
of Obama-like kind of
unlike
speech.
the winner of that election who had a speech right in his hand, holding it, and his hands were
I
shaking.
couldn't even hold it,
Uh,
and then couldn't say much about So,
anything.
so some people mind are already made up. Whatever he said there. In fact, the first debate, I think he missed it. They were waiting for him. He didn't make it to the studio. But they still waited. The second debate he came. Whatever he said, they already made up mind that this person they want
You are
to
the
vote.
man.
And then another takeaway, maybe we're going to talk about it, is also you don't know whether this is a reaction to what Tinubu is said to be the nephew, or this guy is the nephew to Tinubu, or thereabout. Their kinship is deep, kind of. So people also thinking that that could be a payback time for Tinubu in one way or the other. The person that people are not happy with the kind of part he's playing, they want to take it out on his brother. Okay, it is said that two comes from that state. So that's also, it's possible that this is a kind of protest vote against Tinubu domineering the whole of the and claiming that he has everything in his pocket, and now it is his turn to be president, using his control of that story. Now, look, I remember when he tried to dabble in those politics. I'll come to the point now. And I told him, Edo is not Lagos. Why you have put in your pocket? I'm also seeing people writing that Oshu is not Lagos.
Let me go back to Abuja.
So it could be that people are saying, look, we don't want this domination again. No one man should call the shots across states. So it could be. We're just looking at the dynamics.
Yeah, Chibuzo, what do you think? Because I think what Silas just said now is true. People are saying that the presidential candidate of APC, Tinubu, is losing ground in Southwest, especially losing in his ancestral home. That is his, and of course, Oyetola seems to be his cousin. Then one would have expected that with his emergence as the standard bearer of the governing party, APC would have swept Osun to show how happy the people of that zone are, that at least it is their son that is the presidential candidate of the governing party. But we saw a different thing altogether, which became a shocker for the APC.
There are numerous
I think we heard the APC national chairman even saying that he was not even aware that APC lost in Osun. I think the man is still inside his hallucination. I don't know how to even, but let's just, what do you think about Tinubu?
Well, every election is different. There are no two elections that are the same. The factors that determine elections are varied. Um, Although some would argue that elections are usually an emotive thing. they're not always logical. They're usually emotive. It's a sentimental thing. How do you make people feel? How people feel about you goes a long way, determining how they, and then if you can resonate along the lines of what they crave, if you inspire them in a way that they think, okay, this person makes me feel good. It's usually a feel good thing. That's the argument of some people. Some others will think that no, politics is about governance, quality, what you put on the ground, and all of that. But again, it depends on the level of political enlightenment and evolution of the people at the time. In context of what they have, the past, the experience they've had to, go through. It's always difficult for an incumbent going into any election. It's always difficult for an incumbent. So these are factors. Secondly, there's no taking anything away from the Adeleke political dynasty. The Adelekes are no pushovers.
When it comes to
politics in Osun State. Their father, was an Ashiwaju of Edeland. It's a big title, and so he was also a senator. So it's a big political family. And then you've had senators come from, a governor too, come from there as well. So it shows you that beyond their being politically conscious and aware, they are also loved by the people. And if you also track, there are reports of how well the brother performed as governor in the past. So these are things that, and the
kind of sentiment, the local sentiment
too. Yes, you wouldn't rule out the road. The Davido also play amongst the youth, galvanizing the youth.
Yes.
You wouldn't rule out
his popularity too counted. As a musician, he's a very
Davido's father.
The people of Osun should be proud that they have a son like that as a musician.
The role of Davido's father as a big-time philanthropist in the state. So these are factors that will also key into this. Another factor too is the mismanagement of the political crisis in the APC, where you have an Aregbesola who has been fighting from the outside all along.
He was not even around.
Shut out by the governor.
Election in your state as a minister, Aregbesola took off. And he went out of the
attempts.
The combination of
series of attempts. Yeah, series of attempts to reconcile them failed, and eventually, this is his payback time. If you look at the margin, the last time it was 482, and now you have about 28,000. So imagine if Aregbesola, had participated fully. Couldn't have changed much. Perhaps it could.
It would have.
So there are so many factors to look at. However, now to the issue of whether this is going to how the optics of this look for Tinubu. Yes, it doesn't help at least at the level of moral boosting. It's a dampener in that sense. It dampens, but again, it gives a reason for the strategizing and reflection and looking back, and to say, okay, where did you get it wrong? Where did you get it right? So to now say, because of this, the window of its launching to the presidency has been totally shut, might not be, totally correct. However, the next few steps they take, the actions they take going from this will determine a lot of things, because we've also had people. There was a video I saw of people saying, "Oh, we voted for Adeleke this time, but when it comes to the presidency, we vote our son." So there's that sentiment. Yes. So you can't rule all these things out, going into 2023.
Well, thank you very much, Ibuzo. I think we are even just going to take a short break now. So by the time we come back, we'll be rounding up. And we expect that by the time we come, we'll at least get one or two comments from our viewers who might be wanting to contribute constructively to the conversation on the big issue. We'll be back in a moment. No,
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome back. We're still on the big issue in leadership podcast. And of course, the big issue of the day is 2023 Osun Governorship poll. Lessons and signs of things to come. Well, Chibuza, as we were talking, I think most people are now saying the victory of Adeleke might not necessarily be an indication that the PDP will win the presidential election in Osun, just like Chibuza said, because many of the voters there, even from Osun, are saying they voted the candidate. I think in reply to Reno Omokiri's comment, that the votes from Osun shows people have not accepted Peter Obi and Labour Party. One of the voters in Osun said, I voted Adeleke. I support Obi. Same thing with my crew. We vote candidate and not party. 2023, I'm voting PO. That's Peter Obi.
The same thing you said.
Just like
they said that they voted
when it comes to vote for their son.
So this one is not a direct indication of how the votes will go. You know, like you say, at that time, the sentiment at that period would be they will look at the candidates that are on the ballot and decide whose sentiment that they want to go with. So it's not about that. And then
before you go, Silas, let me add something before you come. They say there's another thing, because what we observe again is that it appears money actually failed in Osun this time around. Because which is a good thing, because there were reports of vote buying, and then it's like people collected that money and then they voted their conscience. Because we heard of arrest, EFCC arresting 2 vote buyers, ICPC arresting 3, and talks attacking the anti-graft agencies. But even with all this, it didn't still turn out. It's that people collected this money, pocketed, and then voted their money.
Yeah, what the report was that from one of the CEOs that monitored the election, that the vote buying was done by PDP and APC. You understand? So we don't know whether they voted based on when they collected. We cannot say. Okay, whether PDP gave more than APC or vice versa.
Somebody said PDP would have given more because APC is a very stingy party. And secondly, just like we talk about Davido's father, a very rich billionaire, and see that is a very rich family contributing. And so
PDP does not necessarily translate to the fact that they are billionaires. Or not necessarily translate vote buying. It's a delicate thing. If you're a philanthropist,
no, Salah is not saying that is exactly what happened. No, he's just suggesting.
I know. Even the vote buying thing, it's been around for a long time. Depends on how you define vote buying.
Because Silas is not actually saying categorically that vote buying took place. He is saying that if report is of vote buying, if reports are anything to go by, then he's trying to imagine what would have happened.
There are reports.
Not as if he's saying directly, this is
there are reports of vote buying. The civil society organizations pointed out that there, in fact,
they mentioned the places.
Yes, some going to worship. They say you write a paper, you give to somebody, go somewhere,
you show something there,
and they give you your, it's there, it's out there, But like he was saying, it does not necessarily mean that because they collected, they voted this way or that way.
Yeah, you cannot say. And then 2, one other thing that even people have been saying, if you can get the money, reject the money. If you can collect the money, you can just money and vote according to your conscience. That campaign is also. I even had one man of God tell people, look, if that money, if you cannot do that, collect it. It's right. Just money. That's taking it from one or the other.
Yes.
And then vote what you want to vote. But don't say your conscience for anything. Now, so that could have played a part. Also, another thing that was interesting to me in the election was that there was a place talks came to force some people to vote the ruling party, a particular party. And they resisted the talks and said, look, we're not going to vote what you said. You understand? The talks came, and you must vote this party, this and that, others will. The voters bunched up in one minute and said, you cannot tell us what to vote for. And they took them off. So sometimes this harassment that comes from talks and is if you can stand up to them like this, because they were willing to vote.
Just like they
They
were
want to
always
defend their
encourage
vote.
us those days in school, like primary school, secondary school,
Stand
that
your
we always
ground.
stand up to the bullies.
Yeah, stand your ground, you
But
know.
sometimes
And
it can be dangerous.
and they find it's
Because
dangerous
some armed
sometimes.
talks can injure you.
But at the time in that election in 1993, no, 1999 or thereabout, a friend of mine said he went to represent the candidate, and his own classmate, his secondary school, was a talk for the other group. And I said, it's me now. We know we are friends. And I said, this is politics. So he raised his gun and shot in here. I said, if I close my eyes, three times you're not here, I will shoot you. I've forgot all times. My friend cleared from the place because they want to lose his life. So, you know, that is also there. So you have to weigh the environment and know whether you can continue to stand your ground and lose your life or vice versa. But so that's you need to argue your way out a bit.
I think most people are even most people are even saying what happened in Osun is an indication of an imminent major upset in 2023 because it shows the electronic voting system is a game changer. For instance, the coming of the result in real time showed the efficacy of the electronic processes, especially electronic transmission of results. Because, for instance, people were getting results faster, making it difficult for people to think of manipulating the figures or even rigging. What do you think?
Absolutely. You know, we've always said it here. The introduction of more technology, the way we do these things, help not just for ease of the process, but for credibility. It enhances credibility, and when the thing is credible, acceptance is broader.
Of course.
So we can only encourage INEC to keep. By the way, they did a fantastic job. There's a lot of improvements on what they did after the Anambra experience. They came to the FCT. They also made some improvements, not too marginal, but we saw a major improvement with the Ekiti election, and now a massive improvement on the Osun experience. So we can only pray and hope that they continue on this path and continue to learn, get more things done, train their ad hoc staff properly, because there were reports of how well the ad hoc staff they used, the ad hoc staff rather they used in this exercise, how well they were able to
train them.
So it's a good thing, and we would expect that they would do more of this going into the broader election.
Yes, it's just one
because
state.
that is where the concern is.
Yes.
They're going to be doing this at an escalated level, national.
And now,
National.
yes.
So we would expect that if they can keep at this tempo, of course, we might not expect perfection,
No.
but at least let's see a deliberate effort to ensure that the right things are done. Get the logistics right. If you get the logistics right and on time, it will be a major booster for confidence, and ensuring that people, because with this, people are going to come out and vote. With what they've seen in Ekiti and also the Beavers technology and all of that, people are going to come out and vote. However, we expect that INEC will be ready to match the high number of people that are going to come out to participate. That is another issue. But of course, it starts with the PVC thing. Some of the reports we are getting with the PVC buried underground, not buried underground, people don't have access to it, blah, blah, blah. They should try and sort these things, because these are the things that would also determine whether people will continue to have confidence
in the electoral process
and the general elections. But not taking anything away from INEC, with the way they've conducted the Ekiti and Osun elections, I think they deserve a lot of commendation.
Well, that is the much we can take for today's edition of The Big Issue. But I will not end this program without giving credit to President Muhammadu Buhari, who was very quick enough to congratulate the candidate of the PDP despite his own party losing the election.
And his chairman,
the national chairman of the APC, saying that he's not aware that APC lost in Osun. And the governor of the state was now saying that he's still studying results before thinking of congratulating the winner of that election. I think it shows that the president is walking his talk by saying that he's saying it's guaranteeing a free and fair poll come 2023. Thank you for keeping tab with us. And of course, I thank our in-house analysts for addressing the big issue the way it should be. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of this program. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.